Today we are gonna do our Money in the Bank predictions, some early predictions based off of the card and everything we know so far. We don't have all of the participants listed for the men and women's Money in the Bank just yet, but still fun nonetheless to go through and figure this thing out. Who's going over, who's going under, who's gonna get a briefcase in the end. My name is Matt, welcome to Assemble. Thanks so much for watching, let's go. The women's Money in the Bank ladder match. So far we know that Chelsea Green is in, Lyra Valkyria, Io Sky. So the remaining matches for qualifiers for the women's side, there's going to be a triple threat of Candice LeRae versus Jade versus Tiffany Stratton. The other one is going to be Naomi versus Blair Davenport versus Indy Hartwell. Let's look at that one. So Naomi, Blair Davenport, Indy Hartwell. For me, I think Blair Davenport is going to qualify. Naomi is a great pick to have in there as just somebody very solid to have in a Money in the Bank, could do some really cool spots, but I don't feel like they're using Naomi that much right now, and I don't think she needs to be in there. I think Blair Davenport is somebody you want to get into Money in the Bank to showcase, to get her on TV to do something. She's one of the new people that got drafted from NXT to SmackDown, and I think it's time you get her on a show, see what she can do, expose her to the larger audience. So to do that, you get her the win on SmackDown in a qualifying match, so people get surprised by that, and then you can have her go on to be inside Money in the Bank match. The other match, Candice LeRae versus Jade Cargill versus Tiffany Stratton. This one is going to be a little trickier. I don't see Candice winning. Jade and Tiffany are the two picks. I'm going to say that Tiffany Stratton moves on to enter Money in the Bank. Jade is like, probably should win the thing the way they book her, but she's got this whole tag team thing going on with Bianca Belair. I don't think they're done with that. And I don't know if they want to use Money in the Bank right now as that match. Also, it might be a little tricky putting Jade inside a Money in the Bank ladder match and see if she can like hang with everybody, because we've seen some spots and it is what it is, but I don't think she's totally ready for a match like that where there's a lot of moving pieces and there's a lot of spots that are happening. And it's dangerous too. And I think they want to protect Jade and keep her with Bianca and doing that storyline. So I don't think Jade goes in there. I think Tiffany Stratton does. So then the question will be, who wins? I'm gonna go with Chelsea Green. She's a Canadian. We're gonna be in Toronto. I'm gonna go see it. I'm gonna vote. I'm gonna say Chelsea Green's gonna win because I think it'd be fun. Dakota Kai, Ivy Nile, and Zoe Stark are the other women's qualifying match for Money in the Bank. So Dakota Kai goes in there. I say they get some damage controlled in there, and that's it. But I still say Chelsea wins. The other qualifying matches we're going to have, LA Knight, is going to go up against Logan Paul and Santos Escobar to qualify. And then on Raw, we are going to have Drew faces Ilya and Sheamus to qualify. That is going to be a banger of a match, I'll tell you that much. Logan Paul and LA Knight are clearly doing their thing. You probably want to get Logan Paul on the show, but I don't know, unless they're going to spin off and have LA Knight and Logan Paul have their US title match. Yeah, they're not going to do the title match at Money in the Bank. So I think Logan Paul and LA Knight, they get themselves taken out or whatever. And I think Santos gets the win there. Give Santos a fun spot. He can get into Money in the Bank. And then that will help Logan Paul and LA Knight go off and have their US title match at SummerSlam. The other one is going to be Drew, Ilya, and Sheamus. This is going to be a hard-hitting match. I'm looking forward to it. I think one way or another, I think Drew McIntyre is going to win that. And I think he's going to get into Money in the Bank. So if we have Drew, we have Santos, Jay, Carmelo Hayes, Andrade, and Chad Gable. I got to go with Drew McIntyre. I got to say that if Drew wins the qualifier, Drew's going into Money in the Bank. I think Drew wins Money in the Bank. And I think he does exactly what he said he's going to do. I think he cashes in. He might cash in that night at Money in the Bank. SummerSlam, but I think SummerSlam is when they're going to have the match. If you don't have Drew win, then I think it's because Drew gets taken out by CM Punk at Money in the Bank. So there is a couple of things here. If Drew wins Money in the Bank, I think he totally does cash in, and then he wins the title, and then he goes off to SummerSlam to fight Punk for the belt on the line, or they don't have the belt on the line. Drew wins Money in the Bank. These are all fantasy booking things. Drew could win Money in the Bank, try to cash in that night. Punk interferes and costs him Money in the Bank, or he gets distracted during the match itself, like he cashes in, and then somehow Damian Priest, if he retains, then Priest hits him with the South of Heaven and Drew loses again, which could be a lot of fun. Kind of a waste of a Money in the Bank though, but it does really help CM Punk and Drew's story to finally get them to SummerSlam. So SummerSlam is either going to have the belt involved or it's not. If it does, that's really cool, but they could save that piece and use that later if they have, a title match at, say, WrestleMania. So if Drew doesn't win, I kind of have to go with Jey Uso. If Jey wins Money in the Bank, he's on the poster, but if Jey wins Money in the Bank, then it gets very interesting with the bloodline and that story. I don't know. You know what? I'm still going Drew McIntyre. Drew's winning Money in the Bank. Now, a match I'm looking forward to, Braun Breaker versus Intercontinental Champion Sami Zayn. They're coming to Canada. This one, I think Sami retains, but I think Braun destroys him. I think it ends in a DQ. I think Braun decimates Sami Zayn. The whole thing with Braun Breaker right now is that he's feeling cheated and not being utilized, and now he's getting right into the Intercontinental scene. It's very early, and Braun's whole thing is destruction. He is running around the ring and he's spearing guys like crazy. He is destructive, and I think they continue that theme of destruction, and I don't think you need Sami to lose the belt in Canada, and I think you have him retained, but I think it's going to come at a price. I think somehow Braun is going to get himself DQ'd and then snap and go crazy on Sami Zayn and destroy him, giving him all the heat that you possibly can because they're beating down, the hometown hero. He's from Montreal, but we're in Toronto, close enough. So they're going to beat down the Canadian, and then the crowd is going to go crazy. Sami retains, but that could set up then their one-on-one match at SummerSlam for the rematch, or it could be a multi-man match at SummerSlam for the Intercontinental title. So I think, though, Sami's going to retain, but it ain't going to be pretty. And then we're finally going to see some bloodline, which I'm excited for. So we are going to have a 6-man tag. The undisputed champion Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens, Randy Orton teaming up to go up against New Bloodline, Bad Bloodline, Bloodline 2.0. What do you guys think? To me, Bloodline's got to win. So I believe this is going to be Jacob Fatu, who just debuted on SmackDown, took out Cody, and apparently in storyline broke his ribs, but he's at Money in the Bank. Solo and Tama Tonga. Tonga Loa, I guess, is going to be ringside. Jacob Fatu just debuted. The Bloodline, spearheaded by Solo, they need a win. The Bloodline needs a win. They need to win a big match, 6-man tag, where someone can take the loss on the other side, not Cody. Although, if you did have like Solo or Jacob Fatu pin Cody Rhodes in a multi-man match, it gets a lot of heat on the Bloodline and it shows that they are strong. You almost need Solo to pin Cody Rhodes. I don't think WWE wants Cody to ever get pinned unless it's The Rock or Roman Reigns. So I think that they would end up with the Bloodline winning for sure to keep them very strong. I think Jacob Fatu just destroys people, like all of them. And then you get Solo to get the actual pinfall, probably on Kevin Owens. Protecting Randy, protecting Cody. Kevin can eat the pin itself, but I think it's going to be really, really ugly. I think there's going to be a ton of brawling. I think it's going to go all over the arena. Blood will be involved, and I think it will be chaos, but at the end, you need Bloodline 2.0, Bad Bloodline, to really show dominance, to get them going and propel them into SummerSlam. The rumors right now apparently are that Solo is supposed to go up against Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam. If that is the match, I'm not too keen on it personally because I think just Cody wins, but it's all the storyline behind it and what it's going to mean. And they can keep going with, tag team matches, one-on-one matches of Kevin Owens versus Tama Tonga. They can do Randy Orton versus Tonga Loa. They can do the variations of the matches going through all the way to SummerSlam, and you could have Kevin Owens and Randy spin off and do a tag match against the Bloodline, and Cody could have a one-on-one match, for example, against Solo if they want to do that. But it's going to be all about the story and how this thing finishes. I think the 3 babyfaces need to get destroyed. I think Cody needs to lose, and they need to be scared, and the presence of Jacob Fatu needs to be there. That how scary this is, and they cannot beat him. They can't do it one-on-one. So then once they get to SummerSlam, that's when I think all of this Bloodline Cody Rhodes story really starts happening. At the end of SummerSlam, it's a future prediction, I don't think we see Roman Reigns at Money in the Bank. I don't think we see The Rock at Money in the Bank, because I think you need to establish Bloodline as dominant. I think SummerSlam, I don't know if Roman comes back in terms of a match, And I don't think The Rock comes back for a match. But I think for SummerSlam in Cleveland, I think you could end a Cody Solo match with Roman Reigns coming out, maybe costing Solo the match, and then moving that Bloodline story forward. But I'm picking Bloodline, they're winning. World Heavyweight Championship, Damian Priest, Seth frickin' Rollins, they're going at it. Seth's getting his rematch, came back from some time off. This kind of felt thrown together a little bit, like Damian needs a match. To be honest, I think that this is going to involve more Judgment Day, Liv Morgan. There's a lot of elements in here. The Wyatt 6, you never know. They could go and target Seth Rollins. I'm curious about what they're going to do with Seth, like SummerSlam. What are they going to do? This is very much, it feels like a just one-off match that they are doing with Damian Priest and Seth Rollins. Seth just comes back. Damian Priest says, I'll challenge you to a match for my title, which, okay. So they do the reverse thing there. And then I just don't think that Seth is going to win. I don't think there's any need for Seth Rollins to win this match. So you are either going to get a lot of Judgment Day involved, or, like we said earlier, Drew McIntyre wins Money in the Bank, cashes in, maybe he wins, turns it into a triple threat. Judgment Day could still get involved. CM Punk could get involved. There's so many elements in this world title match. I think the match itself is going to be great, but I think Damian Priest will retain in the match with Seth, either by the help of Judgment Day or he does it on his own and establishing Priest a little bit more. But the question mark is going to be the briefcase, and I think everyone's going to be anticipating and wondering if Drew wins Money in the Bank, does he cash in that night against Damian Priest? Does Punk cost Drew Money in the Bank while it's happening? Oh, it's so interesting. There's gonna be so many twists and turns. Guys, let me know your predictions for Money in the Bank. Who's qualifying? Who's gonna win? And if you want to talk more about WWE, like their big change of Raw going to Netflix in 2025, click this video right here, because we're going so in depth on this change and why it's going to probably change WWE forever. Have a great day. See ya.